Hey homies! Today's class is going to be a class focusing on stress relief. So it's a class that you can do anytime you're feeling a lot of anxiety or worry. You can put this class on and hopefully it will help calm your nervous system and help to release some of those worrisome thoughts. So if you think about it just from a nervous system standpoint, when we're worried, the mind is usually rapid, our breath is usually shallow. And so we'll focus a lot in this class about breathing slowly, deeply, and mindfully, which will help calm the heart rate and help quiet the mind and kind of reset the nervous system to be in more of the rest and digest parasympathetic part of the nervous system rather than in our stress response, which is the sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight mode. And then from an anatomical standpoint, if we think about stress, we're usually holding tension in the shoulders, in the chest, in our jaw. So our poses will focus on kind of relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, creating a nice long neck, opening, expanding the area around the heart rather than constricting it. And so, that will kind of be our focus, or the reason why I've put these particular postures in this sequence for you. So we're going to start with a pranayama, a breathing exercise. So find a comfortable seat, whether that's cross-legged or otherwise, whether it's sitting on the ground or sitting propped up on a cushion or a blanket or a bolster. And once you're comfortable, allow your eyes to gently close. And with the lips gently closed as well, see if you can just focus on extending the length of your inhales and extending the length of your exhales. And this doesn't have to be, super dramatic, especially right when you start. But just maybe one beat longer than you might normally inhale and one beat longer than you might normally exhale. Maybe after doing that for a few rounds, then you can lengthen it a tiny bit more on the inhale and a tiny bit more on the exhale. Maybe what you're realizing is that in order to breathe a little deeper, you have to actually kind of take the breath further down, not from your chest cavity, but you have to take the breath down to the abdominal cavity in order to lengthen the inhales and exhales. If that hasn't become apparent in your breath already, try to consciously take the breath down to the belly. So the breath should feel full and lengthened, but it shouldn't feel strained. So if you're really straining to, elongate the inhale or the exhale, maybe back off a bit so that it feels calm. So this is just called conscious breathing. We're going to change this into alternate nostril breathing. And I won't be your mirror, but take your right hand and bring the index finger and the middle finger in towards the base of your thumb. Keep the ring finger and the pinky finger extended. And then bring your hand towards your face. And with the ring, the inside of the ring finger here, you're going to close your left nostril and take a deep breath in through the right side. And then close the right side with your thumb. Release the ring finger and exhale through the left side. And then inhale through the left nostril. Close the left side with the ring finger. Release the thumb. Exhale through the right side. We'll do that again. Inhale through the right. Close the right side. Release the left. Exhale. Inhale through the left side. Close the left, release, right, exhale. And then keep doing this at your own time. And then without rushing, the next time you exhale through the right side, again, no rush, even if you just started a new round. But as soon as you exhale through the right side, bring that hand down and breathe consciously in and out through both nostrils like we did at the beginning. And just observe what you feel here after taking this time to breathe consciously, to breathe deeply, to breathe with purpose and mindfulness. Use objective words to describe what you're feeling, not words like good or bad. but adjectives that really describe the energy or the sensations that you're feeling. And there's no right or wrong answers to that question. Whatever you are feeling is valid and correct. Checking in and knowing what we're experiencing is very informative to how we continue to move, whether it's continuing to move on our mats or continuing to move about our day. Which is another great reason to check in with yourself throughout your day so that you can catch yourself if you are feeling stressed, if when you ask yourself how you're feeling, if words come up that are tense or anxious or tight, if those are the words, the vocabulary that's coming up for you, then you know, okay, this is an opportunity for me to bring in a different vibration. So it's good to know what we're working with to inform how to move forward. Take one more deep breath in. Slow exhale out. And then allow your eyes to open. Maybe a little lift of the corners of your mouth into a soft smile. And then shift forward onto your hands and knees. And we're going to keep the hips in line over the knees. But instead of having the hands right under the shoulders, we're going to step the hands forward a bit. And then inhale, shift forward. Try to stay contained from the front, so pull your belly button toward your spine. So this isn't a drop, it's an intentional move forward in space. And then exhale, bring it back so hips are over knees. We'll just move slowly. Inhale, you come forward. Exhale, you slide back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then step the hands forward a little more. We'll do the same thing. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then I'm going to scoot back because I'm walking off my mat here. And then we're going to start to lower the chest down towards the ground. If the ground seems really far, before you actually start to move, if you're like, oh, I don't think my chest will make it all the way down, put, stack a blanket or a yoga block if you have one, or some books or something to make the ground higher, make the ground come up towards your chest a little bit more. Otherwise, the hands might stay. You might even walk in a little bit forward. Again, we want the hips to stay in line over the knees, and we're going to start to lower the chest down to the ground. And if it's okay with your neck, you can have the chin on the ground. If that's not comfortable, it can be forehead down. It can be forehead down. I don't know if you can hear me. And this is called puppy pose. Breathe here. And then drive into your hands to bring yourself back up. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. And then cat pose. Curl your tailbone under, chin towards chest. You're going to round the spine. And then bring yourself to neutral. Tuck your toes, walk your hands back. Heels land and hang forward for Uttanasana or ragdoll, maybe hands at the elbows. Up to you as far as how straight those legs go. And then stay in this inverted shape with the upper body. And whether your hands are at your elbows or on the ground or on your legs doesn't really matter. But I want you to bring your attention to where your shoulders are, or really it's the head of the humerus bones, not really the scapula that I'm talking about, but the heads of the humerus, the upper arm bone. If that is really close to where your ears are, see if you can pull that down so that your neck elongates. And hopefully you can see that in the video. So going from something like this to something like this. And if your hands are at your elbows, same thing. Instead of this, it will look more like this. And you can still try to, soften the neck. And then bend your knees a lot, even if you can straighten them. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your tailbone under so it's like that cat shape. And slowly start to uncurl yourself to a standing position. So it's like your vertebrae are stacking one on top of the other until you're upright. And then same sensation that you had when you were folded over and the head of the arm bones were kind of way up by your ears. Make that shape. And hopefully you can kind of recognize that as, oh, that's kind of that tense, I'm stressed, I'm worried sensation or feeling in your anatomy, around the collarbones, around your pecs. And then go ahead and soften the heads of the arm bones down, and you get that length along the sides of the neck, just like you did when you were hanging upside down. And you can do this with your eyes closed or your eyes open. We're going to do it again just so you can really start to feel the difference between the two experiences, so that maybe if you find yourself in the tense position throughout your day, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing that thing. I'm doing that thing where I'm really hugging my shoulders way up to my ears, and I want to do the opposite. I want to relax my shoulders down. So then consciously decide to create that space by letting the heads of the arm bones lower down, and again you get that nice long sensation along the sides of the neck. We'll do that one more time just to really imprint this. This is I'm stressed, I'm anxious, I'm worried. And then let it all soften down. And then say to yourself, I am relaxed, I am calm, I am grounded, breathing, those slow, steady breaths in this shape. This is actually a shape that's called mountain pose. If your eyes are closed, allow them to open, drive down through the feet, reach the hands high to the sky. Exhale, hinge forward from your waist. Inhale, lift up and lengthen. And then exhale, bow. And then bring yourself forward. Take your knees down to the ground. Cross your ankles, shift your hips behind your heels, and move the legs forward. So I would encourage a bend in the knee, at least a soft bend in the knee, if not a bigger bend in the knee. Energize through your feet, and the bend in the knees will actually help you sit tall. Another option might be if you really like the idea of having straight legs, but it makes your spine kind of slouch forward. Prop yourself up on something higher. So again, a stack of blankets, a bolster, or yoga block, something that you have to lift the hips up. That might allow your legs to be straighter and the spine to be tall. So you can pick and choose, support the hips or bend the knees. If you can't have straight legs and you can sit tall, then by all means. So find your steady breath here. And then you can do this with your arms by your sides, with your hands on the ground, or you could lift the hands to the sky. Having the hands high would be a little bit more challenging, so up to you. Take a deep breath in. The key is to keep the long spine the entire time and lean forward. So it's the pelvis tipping forward. So if you think of your pelvis as a bowl of water, you want the water to spill forward and then come back up. If my water doesn't spill forward and I feel like I'm moving forward in space, you're probably just rounding the spine and lifting up. So notice my bowl doesn't tip forward, but my spine rounds. So I'm looking again to take the action down to the pelvis and bring the chest forward, the belly forward, out in space. And then make your way back up. And then come forward and back up. And we can do this with breath. So you can take a deep breath in here. Exhale, reach out and forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale. Exhale. Now, take your arms, whether they're higher on the ground, but take them underneath your knees. So if they are completely straight, bend them a little bit so you can slide your arms under. And then bring your chest, your head, your heart forward more in space. And try to maintain this contact. So if this is difficult, if you find that you can't really grab your elbows, bend your knees more and then hug in more. If I'm grabbing elbows, I'm probably closer to this shape of having the rib cage towards the thighs. And then again, I want to lengthen. And then it'll be slow movement. You can move your heels forward or you can walk your sitting bones back. And you'll start to get more and more sensation in the hamstrings as long as you keep this same tight grasp of the arms. If you release the arms and walk back, then you're kind of cheating. Cheating just meaning that you're not going to get this sensation of the lengthening of the hamstrings, which is what we're looking for here. So closer the ribs are towards the thighs and the straighter the knees get, the more we'll feel in the backs of the legs. And you'll get to a spot, you'll get to some point when you've had enough, when your body says no more, and please listen to that. Because I don't want your experience in this pose to just create more anxiety and more worry. Worry that you're going to pull a muscle, anxious that you're not as flexible as you once were, any of that kind of stuff. I want your mind to be able to be quiet here. So if that means you keep the knees bent, belly towards thighs, and you rest here, and this is calm and quiet in your mind, then this is where you stay. As things get more difficult, as you feel more sensation in the backs of the legs, if you choose to go there, that's when, it's a little more challenging to stay with this steady, deep breath and stay in that place of rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system versus fight or flight. Fight or flight will look like tension in the jaw, in the face, like, oh, I'm just going to stay here even though it's so uncomfortable. That would be fight. Or flight would be like, to heck with this, I'm just going to do this instead. So see if you can just be in it, if you can rest wherever you are. Breathe into whatever sensations you're feeling. Know that it's all perfect and unfolding just as it needs to. And that there is a divine plan for you, whether you can see it or not. There is a divine plan for the world, the universe, even though we may not be able to see it. All right, take one more breath here. And then if the legs straighten, make your way back. So either sitting bones walk you forward or heels walk in. And then gently come out. All right. So let's bring our, I'll do left side. So left leg in, left hand holds the foot. And try to bring the knee in towards the chest or towards the armpit. Energize through the right foot and set up nice and tall. Your hand can be down or you can lift up. And then even with this hand reaching high, can you move the head of that arm bone down a bit? So let me face this direction real quick. I don't want this to get super crunchy. I can have the arm lifted, but I can still try to create a little space. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, bring that foot across. And then bring your left hand by the outer left hip. Now, this hand might be up, it might be down, but we're going to take it into a twist. And there's two ways we can do this. We could take the elbow to the outside of the knee and then look behind us here. Or we can take the hand, whether it's coming from a high position or a low position, we can just take the hand and twist here. Now in this position, I want you to be looking back, and then let that be a metaphor for looking to the past. So a lot of times what causes us stress and anxiety is kind of living in the past, right? We want a good experience that we had to still be going on, or a good emotion that we felt, we still want to have that emotion. But life is a series of changes. So if we kind of get stuck in, our past, then we're never going to be able to move forward in a content way. So look behind you. And recognize it all as stuff that's happened in the past tense. It could also be stress from things that weren't pleasant in your past, and you keep reliving them. And so we're unable to move forward because we're kind of anchored by these unpleasant experiences that happened to us. We haven't been able to let them go. So maybe as you look over your shoulder, maybe imagine yourself leaving all that stuff behind. And slowly start to unwind. Take your hands forward. I'm going to give you two options. You can take both your feet in here, and mine are about hip distance. My toes are aiming forward. I'm trying to hug the knees in. You could stay here and just reach forward, or you could push down and lift your hips up and reach forward, but pull your belly button back and squeeze your inner thighs towards each other so it's not kind of wide. The legs aren't wide, but they're more parallel. Ladies, you might have to work around your breast tissue there. That's fine. You might just separate your feet a little bit wider if you need to. But it should feel like the inner thighs are engaged, the feet are pushing down. And I want you to reach forward. So this is representing kind of living in the future. And again, this might be with your hips on the ground and you're just reaching here. But again, another way we cause our own suffering is that we're living in the future, right? I'll be happy when I have the perfect job, the perfect partner, the perfect car, the perfect amount in my bank account, right? And so we live in the future, and we never get to be content until, right? There's a qualifying factor that's put on our own joy and happiness. As you're reaching forward here, again, watch if the shoulders are creeping up by the ears. Try to keep that space along the neck nice and long. Take one more breath. And then if the hips are high, bring them back down. Take both legs back out. Maybe shake that out. So we'll do that on the second side. It'll be the left foot coming in. I'm using the right hand and I'm hugging the knee in by my chest. Kind of more out towards the rib cage, I guess. This left foot's energized. Even this foot's energized, despite the fact I'm holding on to it with my hand. My bottom is pressing down. My heart is lifting high. My shoulders are soft. Maybe the arm reaches high. Breathe here. And then let that right foot come across. And then we go to our twist. So again, it's either elbow outside the knee or bring the hand outside the knee. Look over your right shoulder. You can have the hand down or you could reach it out. Again, let this kind of be a metaphor for looking at the past, letting go of the idea that the past events, positive ones or negative ones, letting go of the idea of living in that space. Right? Allow yourself to kind of break those chains so that you can live in the present moment. Recognize that everything in your past has gotten you where you are in the present moment, and that all of it can be looked at as what needed to happen in order for you to get to where you are. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to unwind towards the front to the present. Uncross, bring that left knee in. My feet are apart, my inner thighs are hugging. I can stay right here and reach forward. I could also push down, lift the hips, and kind of be in this squat, reaching forward. And this is our symbol for what is it that we're yearning or longing for in the future that's preventing us from being content now. It's great to kind of have goals and inspiration and to, make a plan for yourself. But it doesn't mean that you can't be happy until then, right? We're content with the present as we make our way towards those things. Because usually what we'll find is that you finally do get the thing that you thought was going to make you happy, and alas, you're still not happy, right? We do it with yoga poses, or I know I've done it with yoga poses, right? Oh, I'll be happy when I can do whatever, handstand, forearm stand, this arm balance, whatever it is. And then you do it, and then you're like, oh, well, now I want to do that, be able to do that pose. Now I want to be able to do that pose. That one's not as exciting anymore now that I can do it, right? Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, if the hips are high, bring them down. And then everyone bring the hands down, bring the legs down. And let's do feet together, knees wide. Sit tall. So if you need to use your hands to support the lift, do that. If you need to prop yourself up on something, do that. And then allow ourselves to not be looking back, not to be reaching forward, and just be centered. Be present. And see if that brings a sense of calm and peace and groundedness. See if that naturally dispels some of the worry, some of the anxiety. And then stay in your tall seat, but bring your chin towards your chest. And we're just going to do little head rolls, these little half circles. Because again, our neck, shoulder area tends to be a place where we hold a lot of stress. And if you find a spot that feels really good and you kind of want to hang out there, you can do that. And then bring the head back up, bring the knees in. We're going to do one more forward fold. We're going to do it with an arm variation. So feet down, heels down, bring yourself up, or bring your hips up. Lift up about halfway, and then take your hands behind you, fingers interlace, pull the knuckles back, and then bring yourself forward here. So notice this is similar to what we did seated. I have bent knees and I'm bringing my belly towards my thighs. I can soften the head and slowly allow the hands to move as far forward as they want to go. You don't have to force anything. Gravity will do the work. The longer that you're here, maybe the legs start to straighten, but again, try to keep the contact of your rib cage towards the thighs. Start to bring the hands back. If they moved forward, pull forward with your heart as much as your hands are pulling back. Switch the interlace of your fingers. Pull forward and back again. Knees bent, ribs towards thighs, come over again. And pause again. And start to move the hands back if they move forward. Chest pulls forward. Release the hands, soften the knees, bring yourself all the way down, and we'll go to our backs. You can start by hugging the knees to your chest. Maybe a little movement side to side feels good. And then with your hands on your knees, push the knees forward till your elbows are straight. Take the hands wide, so the knees go wide, and then bend the elbows, bring the knees back to your chest, and then close the knees together. So you're making a circle. They go forward, out, back in and together, forward, out, back in together, again. And then the next time they're together and your arms are forward, we'll switch. We'll bring them in together and then take them wide, with the legs wide, push the elbows straight. And then you might have to slide the hands under to bring the knees together. And then back in. So make 3 more of those circles. And then keep your bottom on the ground. Extend your feet and your hands to the sky. You can keep a soft bend in the elbows and the knees. Make slow circles with your ankles and your wrists. Make slow circles going the other direction. And then just pause, take a deep breath in. Slow exhale out. So when we get anxious, we kind of feel like we're not grounded and drifting. And this pose for me sometimes kind of feels like I'm floating. So take a deep breath into that space of uncertainty maybe. And then exhale, bend the elbows and knees so that your feet and your hands come all the way down. You're going to land in Shavasana. So you're landing in a place that feels fully supported by the earth beneath you. And again, to use a metaphor, what can help us come out of a state of worry or anxiousness is that remembering that the world, the universe, spirit, God, whatever language works for you, has your back. Again, there is this master plan or divine plan that's unfolding just as it needs to, even though you may not be able to see it. And so let these last few minutes in Shavasana allow you to trust, to be okay with the uncertainty, and to allow yourself to breathe deeply, slowly, consciously, mindfully, so that our parasympathetic nervous system is able to stay at the forefront. And that for at least these last few minutes, you're in a space of still and calm and quiet. Slowly start to move your fingers and your toes. Bring your arms across your body. Give yourself a big hug. Tell yourself, I love you even when you're anxious. I love you even when you worry. Tell yourself that this is all practice, and when you find yourself getting anxious and worried and stressed again, that you can use these tools to help bring you back into a more calm and grounded space. Reach the hands to the sky. Reach long over your head. Pull to the left and right. Bring your knees into your chest. Gently roll to one side. Come all the way up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow your head towards your fingers. Honor yourself. Everything from your past that has brought you to this moment. Everything in the future that has yet to be discovered. And just sit in the beauty of what is at this moment, the present moment. Recognize that anytime you come back to your breath, every inhale, every exhale is the next new present moment. So one more reason to focus on your breath. Always come back to your breath, whether you're on a yoga mat or not. The more we do that, the more we can relieve ourselves from the suffering that we create for ourselves by clinging to the past or clinging to the future instead of just being right here, right now. From the highest in me to the very highest in all of you, thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. It's always an honor. It's always my pleasure. Aloha and namaste.